Hello, Pilgrim friends and family. Here's another summer reading session with Mrs. Conniff. Today I'm going to read a book by one of my favourite authors and illustrators. It's almost hard to do his illustrations justice on a YouTube video, but I'm going to do my best and hope that you will be encouraged to check out his books. This story is called Jungle Drums. It's written and illustrated by Graeme. The book is published by Abrams Books for Young Readers and was published in 2004. So if you were a person, it would be 16. I'll read the inside flap about Graeme when the book is finished because there's extra stuff to talk about today. Here is Jungle Drums by Graeme. Dedicated it for Kate. This is Ngiri Modogo. Small, isn't he? He's the smallest warthog in Africa. These are the bigger warthogs. They tease Ngiri about being so small. But that's only because they're jealous of the other animals who live across the river, with their stunning spots and striping stripes, impressive horns and curly trunks, graceful necks and gorgeous plumage. Here are the other animals who live across the river. Aren't they just gorgeous? Every year, the other animals hold a grand parade with prizes for the most beautiful. The warthogs don't even bother entering. Mud wrestling isn't on the programme. Tired of being teased, Ngiri heads across the river to play with the other animals. They are arguing among themselves about who is the most beautiful. They turn and stare at Ngiri. No spots, laughs Chewy the leopard. No stripes, whinnies Pundumilia the zebra. Look at those silly little horns, snorts Kifaru the rhino. He hasn't even got a trunk, trumpets Tembo the elephant. Or a neck, scoffs Twiga the giraffe. Isn't he just the ugliest thing you've ever seen? Crows Ndege, the crested crane. And small too. They all laugh out loud. Ngiri heads for home. He is not happy. On the way, he meets old Nyumbu, the wildebeest, the oldest and wisest in the jungle. I hate being so small, he tells her. Everyone teases me. Old Nyumbu gets out a little set of bongos. These are magic drums, she says. If you play them, they will give you whatever you wish for. Do you want them? Oh, yes, cries Ngiri, I do. He takes the drums in eager hooves. Old Nyumbu has a twinkle in her eye. Just remember, she says, wishes can come true, but not always as you expect. And she gently fades into the bushes. The sound of jungle drums throbs through the night. But in the morning, despite all his wishing, little Ngiri is still exactly the same. Then he hears a commotion in the jungle. The other animals have woken to find their stunning spots and striking stripes, impressive horns and curly trunks, graceful necks and gorgeous plumage have all disappeared, and they are very upset about it. The warthogs, meanwhile, have woken up. with stunning spots and striking stripes, impressive horns and curly trunks, graceful necks and gorgeous plumage. They think they look just fabulous. Here's Ngiri Mdogo, they laugh as he trots up, small as ever, and oh so plain. But we are just like the other animals now. We're going to enter the grand parade and teach them a lesson in jungle style. That's not quite what he was expecting, is it? When the other animals learn on the jungle grapevine that the warthogs are going to enter the grand parade, they are horrified. Look at us, they cry in dismay. Those awful warthogs will win every prize. It will be a complete disaster. They try making fake markings out of sticks and grass and coloured mud, but it all washes off in the evening downpour. See how everything's melting off and not working? That's a beautiful illustration. The warthogs parade along the riverbank in their newfound finery. You stole our markings, yell the other animals. Give them back. They're not your markings, they're ours, snort the warthogs. They fell from the sky, and now we are the most beautiful animals in the jungle. They belong to us, growl the other animals. If you don't give them back before the grand parade, we will come and take them. Poor Ngiri. What has he done? I think he's going to try and reverse it by playing his drums again in the evening. Let's see. The wild African moon comes up and jungle drums beat out again across the savannah. It's still dark as Ngiri creeps over to where the other animals are sleeping. He breathes a sigh of relief to see stunning spots and striking stripes, impressive horns and curly trunks, graceful necks and gorgeous plumage. Then the animals stir and sit up. The markings are on the wrong animals. It's the warthogs who have done this, cry the other animals. They put a spell on us. They stomp off angrily across the river. Can you see all the mistakes? Isn't that funny? Talk about who's got which thing wrong. How funny. Maybe you could make up new names for them with their new markings. Meanwhile, the warthogs are in a terrible state. What's happened to my nose? What's happened to my neck? How can I roll in the mud with all these feathers? I can't run with this great long trunk. I'll end up as someone's dinner for sure. The warthogs have become even more like the other animals they admire so much. They've put a spell on us. They stomp off angrily across the river. Okay, so both sides are blaming each other. Does that sound familiar that sometimes? What have you done to us? Demand the warthogs. What have you done to us? Demand the other animals. Everyone is shouting at once. Stop it, cries Ngiri Mdogo in a squeaky voice. It was me. All the animals stop and look at him in amazement. He tells them about the magic drums. I made a wish. 2 wishes, in fact, though they went wrong. I wanted you all to stop teasing me, but I didn't mean for you to start fighting. Why can't you all be happy the way you are? Because we look ridiculous, says everyone together. We want to be the way we were. Well, says Ngiri thoughtfully, if you'd all be happier that way, I suppose I could try making one more wish. For a third time, the sound of jungle drums echoes through the still night air. As the sun rises over the rim of the world, the warthogs and the other animals wake and look around with relief. They are all back to normal. But Ngiri Mdogo sighs. After all that trouble, he is still exactly the same. The smallest warthog in Africa. Something has changed, though. No one is teasing him anymore. The bigger warthogs and the other animals look at Ngiri, then at each other. Then they shrug. So what if he's the littlest? Someone has to be. That evening, the grand parade goes ahead as usual. The other animals who live across the river show off their stunning spots and striking stripes, impressive horns and curly trunks, graceful necks and gorgeous plumage. The warthogs clap and cheer. Then the warthogs put on a mud wrestling display, including a very clever mud pyramid with a mud fountain, and the other animals clap and cheer. Then Ngiri does a drum solo, but is very careful not to wish for anything, just in case. And everyone claps and cheers. And the night is a roaring success. The end. Can you see the shape of that illustration? Who does it remind you of? The shape of it. Was everything really back to normal in the jungle? The warthogs were still not quite the way they had been before Ngiri made his wishes, and neither were the other animals. In fact, if you look very carefully, you will find that every creature watching and listening from the trees changed after Ngiri played his magic drums. Look even closer and you might also find Nyumbu, the wildebeest, hidden somewhere on every spread. Back into the jungle we go. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to spot that, find some of those hidden things on the video, but this is such a lovely book that if you found it at the library or in a bookstore, you might be able to spend a bit more time with it and see what he's talking about. And then on the last page, he gives a glossary on how you pronounce some of the things and what they might mean. So I shall read that out. Whoops, let's get this way. After all this time, it is still difficult to remember which way to move the book because it's like a mirror image, boys and girls, so it's quite hard. A note on Swahili pronunciation. Some of the names in Jungle Drums are a bit tricky to pronounce. They are actually the Swahili words for the animals. Ngiri Mdogo, it's little warthog. Make the sound of a small N, then say giri right after it. Ngiri. Do the same with Mdogo. Ngiri means warthog and Mdogo means little. In Swahili, you say the name of the thing first, then the word describing it. Chewy, leopard. This one sounds the way it looks, chewy, just right for a leopard. Punda milia, zebra. Sounds like punda milia. Punda means donkey and milia means stripes. So a zebra is a donkey with stripes. Kifaru, rhino. Sounds the way it looks, kifaru. Tembo, elephant. This sounds the way it looks too, tembo. Twiga, giraffe. Pronounced twiga. Ndege, crested crane. Similar to ngiri with a small n at the start, ndege. Ndege actually means bird in Swahili. They don't have names for different birds. They tend to say bird, then add something to describe it. Unfortunately, my Swahili is pretty limited, so ndege will have to do. Nyumbu, wildebeest, pronounced in 2 syllables. Nyumbu. Have fun. Graeme Base. I'll read a bit about Graeme Base from the back cover. Graeme Base is internationally recognised as the creator of lushly illustrated and innovative picture books. His alphabet book, Animalia, received worldwide acclaim when it was first published in 1986 and has achieved classic status with global sales of more than 2 million copies. He followed this early success with 6 picture books, including The Waterhole, which was a New York Times bestseller. While he was working on Jungle Drums, Graeme and his family journeyed to Tanzania, Africa, where they camped in the Serengeti among giraffes, elephants, zebras, and of course, warthogs. The trip helped Graeme bring the characters and landscape of the book to life and resulted in the Swahili influences in the text. Graeme lives in Melbourne, Australia, with his artist wife Robin and their 3 children. And here is a picture of him on his safari taking pictures to be able to reference. So research is important when you're writing any kind of book for adults or for children. All right, I hope you have a happy summer day today, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.